suggesting. They want to criminalise some youth for taking their own decisions. Now, what good is that going to do? The government has taken the leap from trying to reason with pupils to locking them up with nothing in between. We see this as unreasonable. It's a sign of desperation. In fact, we've seen something like this before. The ASBO scheme, what a success that was. In fact, the proposition also wants to introduce something similar to ASBO's. It just isn't going to work. Criminalising youth does nothing but anger them. And just as the world is waking up to seeing that reducing crime is not resolved by a heavy hand, the government has gone and stuck its foot in it. Now, there are some logistical issues to the proposition as well. Who exactly is going to enforce this? Are teachers going to be making citizens' arrests on the streets whenever they see a pupil who should be in school? Are the police going to be visiting schools to take lists of missing persons, tracing them, sending them through the criminal justice system, and then putting them in correctional facilities? I don't think so. Or how about fines? Are they going to be placing burdens on poverty-stricken families, who, after all, are the main perpetrators of delinquency? We don't think so. We think this is an unreasonable and unworkable scheme, and for those reasons we urge you to oppose the motion.
Pass on to David and speak for the proposition.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think Raphael has jumped to some conclusions regarding our proposition. Firstly, he states that not all school dropouts want to become accountants and the like, and I would say we completely agree. We are not forcing the whole of the British youths to take A-levels. We are not saying that you have to be in traditional education. We are saying that we are going to keep people in some kind of educational environment until they are 18, whether it be doing apprenticeships or vocational courses. We're not necessarily, as I've said, making all these people become lawyers, etc. He also said that we are criminalising youths. We are not criminalising youths. Just because the word prison is there does not mean we are turning them into criminals. We are saying that this prison that we are putting them in is for counselling and rehabilitation. It's going to be...
On a point.
No, thank you. It's going to be a separate prison set up especially for these people, and it's not going to be a traditional kind of prison, and it's not criminalising them, yes.
Surely this is indicative of the naivety and arrogance of this motion, that you say that people who are dropping out of school should be counselled, that they have some sort of mental illness, that they need to be taken to these
We're not counselling them as if they have a mental illness. We are instilling in them responsibility and the urge to learn and become proper citizens. And Raphael asked about the logistics of how these people are going to be arrested. The teachers and the people at the establishments are going to alert the authorities, and they will proceed to send letters with all the various stages of corrective punishment. And you said there's nothing in between what we're doing now and sending them to prison. Well, there is. We've said there's going to be a series of fines and other orders before we decide to take them to these institutions. So now on to my substantive points. The first thing I'd like to say is that the problem that we have, that James has outlined, that there are more and more people from other countries who are willing to do unskilled labour for less wages than the British people are, makes it even more urgent. With the inclusion now of Bulgaria and Romania into the European Union, means we have quite literally hundreds of thousands of new immigrants who are coming in and willing to work for less money than the British people would. So it's for this reason that we need to help these people for themselves so that they can get jobs. For us as a country, as an economy, and as a society to have these people in jobs, that this is becoming ever more urgent. Yes.
Surely it's unfair to base people's futures on speculation about the direction of the global economy.
This is not speculation. We know and we are seeing already that these people are coming in and taking the jobs of British people who would otherwise be having them. And we're not saying that this is particularly wrong and we want to do away with immigrants. What we are saying is that this scheme that we're setting up will hope to ensure that there is a better future for Britain, for the people of Britain, and as Britain as a country and an economy and as a society. Now, my second point is that under 16, we see that parents are threatened with prison if their children pay truant. And what we're saying is that once people are over 16, we say that they have the responsibility, and the responsibility is on them, that they become, that they are responsible for their own education. And this is why we say that they should go to prison. And going to our institutional prisons will educate them to be more responsible. So this is not just about throwing them into prison, this is about educating them. And as James said, the softly approach to keeping people in school to 18 has been tried and it has failed. Now this is needed, it is urgent that we have this scheme set up so that people stay in school until 18. And as I said, it's not necessarily going to be A-levels. People are going to be able to do other vocational qualifications. And to finish with a point, just that for every Philip Green, there are quite literally thousands of young people on the streets unemployed. Thank you.
Now I'd like to pass over to Ben for the audit.
Now, David, at the very last point of your speech, you said that the word responsible came up a lot, that you believe that children at the age of 16 are responsible for their own actions and that therefore they can be sent to prison for avoiding school. Well, I put it to you that you're saying that children over 16 are now responsible, yet somehow you believe they're not responsible to govern their own futures and the way these futures are going to go. Now, first of all, we've heard a lot of stuff from the opposition telling us that the global economy is changing, that we need to be a skills economy, that these people have to have skills for Britain to survive and them to survive. Well, I put it to you, first of all, as I said earlier, rebuking David's point, that it is unfair on these children to govern their future, which is essentially what it is. This is their destinies. This isn't just about 2 years. And based on speculation about the global market, which it is speculation, we do not know how this is going to go. The world is always changing, but also the point that this implies that at the moment we do not live in an economy where these people, as my partner said, and the opposition seems to be agreeing with us, that we do not at the moment live in a time where everybody has to have skills and where we are completely a skills economy, but that eventually we will. Now the problem with this is, that people in the future who you believe, because we haven't enforced these measures, will be left out because they don't have skills. Well, I put it to you that there are adult college courses that people do not have to learn solely between the ages of 16 and 18. Now, it's perfectly possible for my opponent to say, as I'm surprised James hasn't, that it would seem that if this is the case, that if people can learn in the future, why not learn them? Surely this would put a bad spin on things, that they dropped out of school early and that would change their ideas of education, but it's not so, no. Because the fact that people want to drop out at that point proves that they've already been put out of education. There are reasons, it hasn't been addressed by the opposition, although Raf touched on it, the reason that people actually drop out of school at this age. Now, the opposition seems to think that they have low aspirations, but that's not necessarily the case, as Raf has said, and as we see throughout the media, for instance, for anyone who's seen the film Kes, people, it's not so much low aspirations, but realistic aspirations to a lot of people. Not everyone lives in a place where they can have these skills, where the schools are decent. Okay.
So what you're suggesting is perpetuating a cycle of poor attainment. In addition to that, do you think that by the time people join these adult training courses, they have had a successful career? We do not.
Well, you imply, I mean, it's all very well to see it in London, but you imply that, as Raf said, if people are given these skills, they will become doctors or lawyers. If people go to school between the ages of 16 and 18, they are automatically somehow going to be skilled workers. Now, we say that's not necessarily the case. If you grew up in a place where there aren't these various jobs, various office jobs, if you want to drop out completely, if you want to be a farmer, if you live somewhere where